Sleeping with a stranger, getting pregnant, and later finding out he's a criminal while you are the sister of a cop. Sunlight slashes across your face, pulling you harshly from the grip of the sleep. You blink, the light binding you for a moment as your eyes adjust. The ceiling above is foreign, unfamiliar, and your heart skips a beat. This isn't my room. The words slip from your lips in a shaky whisper. Panic begins to bubble under your skin as you turn your head. The moment your gaze lands beside you, your breath catches in your throat. A man lies next to you, his bare back facing you, broad muscle and covered in intricate dark tattoos. Your eyes trace the bold lines of the ink until they settle on a massive snake coiled across his back. It's cold, lifeless, eyes staring right at you. Terror strikes, freezing you in place. Your body trembles as a familiar suffocating fear grips your chest. A snake. Your breath falters, your heart races as you squeeze your eyes shut. No, you try to block it out. His presence, the ink on his skin, the sheer wrongness of it all. But his presence beside you is overwhelming, suffocating. Your breathing gives you away. It's shaky, uneven. You feel him shift, the bag dipping slightly as it turns over. Your stomach drops. Please don't. Your body reacts on instinct, your eyes snapping open. You shoot up, pulling the sheets to your chest, gripping them desperately over your base skin. The tension in the room thickens like a noose around your throat as you sit there motionless, paralyzed by the unknown. The silence stretches, and for a long moment, nothing happens. You don't dare to move. The weight of your vulnerability presses down on you, suffocating. Slowly, cautiously, you open your eyes, praying he's gone, but he's not. He's sitting up now, fully dressed, watching you. His gaze is heavy, intense, and calculating as it roams your body from your face down to where the sheet covers your bare chest. The heat of his stare burns your skin, making you feel exposed despite your best efforts to hide. Your eyes meet his for just a heartbeat. That's all it takes for his lips to curl into a smug, satisfied smug. The sight of it makes your blood run cold. You drop your gaze immediately, heart pounding in your chest. You can feel his eyes still on you, undressing you, even though you are already bare underneath. Every second feels like an eternity. Fear laces through every muscle in your body, twisting your stomach with guilt and shame. How did this happen? Who is he? What did he do to me? But the word choke in your throat, refusing to come out. You feel dirty, tainted, the crushing realization of what you have lost. He stands, but the tension in the air doesn't ease. Your eyes follow him, and what's when you see it, the unmistakable gleam of a cold metal in his hand, a gun. Your heart stops. You watch helpless as he turns and walks around the room. The soft click of the door closing behind him echoing in a deafening silence. The room feels darker now, colder. You sit there trembling, unable to shake the image of his mug, the gun in his hand, and the weight of what just happened. The sheets are clenched so tightly on your hands that your knuckles turn white, but no matter how hard you hold on, you can't stop the sinking feeling inside you. At your home, Sugar sits at the dining table, his hands tightly gripping the edge as his wife, Gia, nervously hovers near him. His jaw is clenched, his expression dark with frustration. Did she come home yet? He asks, his voice cold, the tension in the air thickening with each word. Gia, startled by the sharpness in his tone, stammers as she answers, "No, but Sugar, you don't have to worry, I will." Sugar cuts off, his voice raising with frustration. "Don't worry, are you kidding me? My sister didn't come home last night and you are telling me not to worry?" His voice echoes through the room, making Gia instinctively step back. Sugar may be a caring husband and brother, but when he's in his officer mode, the cold, serious side of him takes over and everyone around him tenses in fear. Gia fidgets nervously, glancing at her phone. She was at his friend's birthday party. She says softly she would be stay there for night. Jungkook's expression hardened, his voice dangerously low now. "Call her. Tell her to be home before I leave for work. No excuses." Gia's eyes widen, her heart racing as she fumbles with her phone. "Yes, right away," she stutters, grabbing her phone from the dining table and rushing toward the kitchen. She dials your number, her hands trembling slightly. The phone rings once before you pick up. Gia on the phone. "Ryan, where are you? Your brother is furious. I managed to calm him down last night, but now I can't. You need to come home now. Don't be so worked up, honey. I am on my way." 10 minutes later, you step into the house, you pace hurried, knowing the ticking clock Suga had given you, but as you near the hallway, your steps falter. There he is, your brother standing tall in the center of the room, hands shoved into his pockets, his posture rigid. The call police officer in him is on full display, his gaze sharp and unrelenting. Behind him, you look at Gia with a worried look, biting her lip nervously. Sugar's voice cut through the silence, cold and commanding. Eyes on me, you immediately snap your gaze to him, his tone leaving no room for defiance. Since you're having trouble walking, let me help you lessen the distance. He says, stepping forward with slow, deliberate steps. Each steps make your heart pound harder in your chest, fear tightening your throat. You stop dead in your tracks, unable to move as he closes the distance. His eyes pierce through you, unblinking, waiting. Where are you coming from? Your heart skips a beat, and for a fleeting moment, you wish you could tell him the truth from hotel room where I gave to a stranger, but you can't. The age gap between you and Suga has always made you feel a little too guarded, too respectful to be open about your mistakes. So you lie as always. Friend's house, you stammer, eyes darting away. I told Gianni she was sick and she will live alone, so I stayed. Sugar eyes narrow, clearly not buying your story, but he doesn't press further. His voice remains cold as he issues his final warning. This is the first and the last time you're out overnight. I won't tolerate it again. Got it? You nod quickly, your gaze fixed on the floor, feeling the weight of his disappointment. Gia lets out a long, shaky breath, visibly relieved that Sugar isn't pressing further. She knows, though Gia always knows when you are lying, and the guilt weighs on her shoulders, making her fidget even more. Sugar straightens his posture, glancing at both of you as he turns towards the door. I'll be home late, don't wait for me for dinner. His voice is clear, professional, and without another word, he walks out, leaving the door clicking softly behind him. The second he's gone, you throw your purse onto the couch. Thanks, Annie. Gia walks over, her arms crossed, glaring down at you. You're going to be death of me, Ryan. Sugar's going to kill me one of these days. Why do you keep doing this? What did I do? You ask, pinning innocence through a small smug tugs at the corner of your lips. Gia glare intensifies as if don't know. Why do you always do the things your brother specifically tells you not to? You stretch out on the couch lazily, a mischievous glint in your eyes. Because it's fun teasing you. You yawn, standing up to make your way to your room. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to rest. Gia follows you, her expression suspicious. What did you even do last night to be this tired? Without missing a beat, you turn around, a wicked grin on your face. By a mysterious man, you wink, but Gia's serious expression makes you quickly change your tone. You fake a yawn, shrugging casually. Just kidding, we partied and danced all night. Now let me sleep. You flop onto your bed and bury yourself under the covers, trying to sleep off the guilt and exhaustion. Even if, as you drift off, you can't shake the memory of last night, the stranger, the tattoos, and what you can never tell Suga. The days have blurred together, each one heavier than the last. You found out you were pregnant through a cheap pharmacy pregnancy kit after missing your period. Fear grips you when the test shows positive. The father, a stranger, a tattooed and a nameless, haunts your thoughts. And the idea of your brother finding out terrifies you. You imagine Sugar cold eyes, the disappointment, the disgust. You know you can't tell him. He would think you are reckless, careless, or worse, characterless. Try to keep your secret buried deep inside, pretending everything is fine. You start wearing loose clothes, hiding the changes in your body from everyone. 4 months slip by, and through your belly is still small. The pharmacy is taking a toll on you. You have never seen a doctor, never had any guidance, and you are getting weaker each day without proper care. The fatigue is becoming unbearable. You stop going to college altogether, locking yourself in your room. Gia, Sugar wife, has noticed your odd behavior. She tried asking you, but you brush her off, too scared to reveal the truth. Sugar, always busy with work, has no clue his long hours away from the home have him shielded him. One afternoon, Gia comes home from school exhausted from teaching her primary class. As usual, she heads straight to your room, her concern warning at her. Pushing open the door, she finds you lying on your bed, still in the same position as this morning. Ryan, how are you? Her voice is soft as she sits down on the edge of the bed beside you, gently shaking your shoulders to wake you, but you don't stir. Her heart skipped a beat. Wine, she says louder this time, her hand trembling as she shakes you again. Still no response. Panic rises in her chest, her breath quickening. Gia eyes widen as she realizes something is very, very wrong. Wine, she cries, her voice trembling with fear. When you don't open your eyes, her entire body jolts with panic. She springs up from the bed, racing down the hall towards her bag. Her hand shakes uncontrollably as she rummages through her purse, fumbling from her phone. Her heart pounds in her chest as she dials Sugar's number but is called straight to the voicemail. Panic grips her harder. Pick up, she mutters desperately. Her fingers shaking as she tries again, still no answer. Without thinking, she dials the number of Sugar's police station. Her voice is frantic when one of the assistant inspectors picks up. Hello, police station, how can I help you? This is Inspector Sugar's wife. Please, I need to speak with him. It's urgent, she pled, her voice high pitched and strained with fear. Assistant, I am sorry ma'am, but Inspector Sugar is in a meeting with the ACP right now. I can pass along a message. Gia feels her knees go weak, leaning against the wall for support. You don't understand, she gasps. Her sister Wyan, she's not good, she's unconscious. And she's not waking up. Please tell him to come home right away. Her voice breaks as she speaks, the sheer terror of the situation catching to her. She presses her hand against her chest, trying to calm her racing heart, but it's no use. Tears breaking the corner of her eyes. I'll get the message to him. Gia barely hears a response as she races back to your side, her hand shaking as she tries to wake you again. Wine, please wake up. She begs, tears spilling down her cheeks as she looks at your pale face, unmoving. In Suga's office, the tension is thick as the ACP sits behind the desk, his fingers strumming against the wood, stands rigid, arm folded behind his back, eyes sharp, unwavering. Inspector Sugar, there are numerous issues brewing in Korea. It's time you divert some of your attention from the Mafia and address other matters. With all due respect, sir, I can't turn a blind eye when I know what's going on. His tone is firm, each word carrying weight. The ACP sighs, leaning back in his chair, his frustration palpable. Sugar, you need to understand this Mafia government is under his thumb. If you push too hard, we'll be suspected. Sugar's jaw tightens, his eyes flashing with defiance. But sir, he's flooding the country, ruining the lives of our youth. We can't just ignore that. The ACP rubs his temples, knowing the truth in Sugar's word, but bound by the political restraints his faces. I get it, I understand where you're coming from, but I can't get you a research warrant against him. No, without serious consequences. You need to let it go. Let it go. His voice rises slightly, frustration boiling beneath his calm exterior. Sir, I am sorry, but I refuse to sit back and do nothing. You might be afraid of the Mafia, but I am not. I won't let the fear of suspension and transfer stop me from doing my job. The ACP stands abruptly, brushing off the tension in the room. You're an honest cop, Sugar, and I respect that. But you need to be smart. Think with a cooler head. You can't win against the Mafia, and you know that as well as I do. Plus, you have the family to think about. Sugar fist clenched at his sides. The ACP words sting, but he remains composed. Thank you for the advice, sir. He gives a sharp salute, his voice icy. The ACP pauses as he reaches the door, glancing back at Sugar. His tone lowers, a hint of warning lacing his word as he pulls out his phone and dials. ACP on the phone. I tried to reason with him, but it seems he's not backing down. You'll need to deal with him on your own, sir. He ends the call, disappearing from view just as the ACP Sugar assistant walk in, standing at attention with a salute. Sugar, his mind already deep in thought, barely looks up from the stack of files in front of him. What's update? The assistant face tense with urgency. Sir, your wife called. She said your sister isn't responding and she needs you to come home immediately. Sugar's heart skips a beat. His entire demeanor changes in an instant, his stoic exterior shattering as worry floods his expression. What? What happened? Without waiting for an answer, he grabs his phone, his pulse quickening as he sees the barrage of missed calls from Gia. His hand trembles slightly as he stuffs the phone into his pocket and rushes out of the office. Sugar's mind races as he bolts towards the door, the urgency clawing at his chest, each unanswered call from his wife's place in his mind like a warning bell. Something is wrong, terribly wrong, and he needs to get home now. At home, the atmosphere is tense, the air thick with worry. Gia paces nervously with a doctor examines you. Sugar stands on the other side of the bed, his eyes never leaving you. pale face. The storm is silent except for the soft sound of the doctor instrument and the occasional murmur from Jia. The doctor finishes and straightens up, his expression calm but not reassuring enough for Suga. I have given her an inspection. She should wake up within an hour. If she doesn't, you need to bring her to the hospital immediately. Suga's brow furrows deeper, the worry now ate into every line of his face. Doctor, what's wrong with her? She's never passed out like this before. His voice is laced with desperation, the usual calm and authoritative tone replaced by the concern. We can't say anything for sure yet. I've taken her blood sample and I'll send you the result by this evening. Try not to worry too much for now. Thank you, doctor. She manages a weak smile, but it's clear she's just as anxious as Sugar. The doctor gives Jia a comforting pat on the shoulder before heading out of the room. Jia follows her to the door, glancing back at her unconscious sister-in-law with a sinking heart. She watches the doctor leave before returning to the bedroom, her footsteps. Inside, Sugar sits at your bedside, his hand gently brushing the hair away from your face. His strong, stoic demeanor is completely shattered as she gazes down at you. The little sister he's always protected, his voice is barely a whisper as he speaks to himself. What is happening to my little sister? His hand trembles slightly as he caresses your forehead, the weight of not knowing. Jia quietly enters the room, her eyes softening as she sees her husband, so tough and unyielding to the world. Looking utterly low, she moves to his side, gently placing a hand on his shoulder, trying to offer him some comfort. She'll be okay, Suga, don't worry. Her voice is soft, trying to be reassuring. Suga lifts his eyes to meet hers, the vulnerability in his gaze staring. He nods, but it's clear he's not convinced. His eyes drift back to you, and his thumb traces gently along your cheek, as if he's afraid you might break. I don't understand. She's always been strong. How could something happen to her? Jia bites her lip, unsure how to respond. She knows how much Suga loves you, how fiercely he's protected you all your life. Seeing him like this, so helpless, is tearing her apart. Go and get some rest. I'll stay here with her. Sugar shakes his head at first, not wanting to leave, but the exhaustion is tearing at to catch up with him. His shoulders sag as he finally concedes. Call me the second she wakes up, Jia. Don't wait. I will, I promise. Reluctantly, Sugar nods, casting one last look at you before walking out of the room. His footsteps echo down the hallway as Jia takes his place with you by his side. She watches the door closes behind him, her heart with the weight of the secrets. Sitting beside you, Jia sighs, her hand resting on the edge of the bed as she stares at your pale face. What are you hiding from us? Why am to be content?